As she climbs into the tuk-tuk, she notices an old man across the street, looking at her strangely. The tuk-tuk driver shoos him away, but the man doesn't smile or react. His gaze makes the main character uneasy. The driver eventually moves on, and they start their journey up the mountain road. The roads are rough, and the ride feels dangerous, but she tries to stay calm. It's just another risk she's taking, one she hadn't planned on. The warnings about staying safe in the area ring in her mind, and she begins to feel the weight of her situation. She realizes she might have been ignoring the same risks others took in the past, especially when it comes to traveling alone. The ride only intensifies this feeling as the tuk-tuk speeds down the bumpy road. She worries about the money she's carrying, something she shouldn't have brought with her, and the strange feeling that she might be walking into danger, just like someone else once did. She finds herself feeling nervous as she tries to make a video. She's still figuring out how to use her phone and laptop, transferring files and posting the video while another person observes. The video, where she talks about how important the book is to her, isn't perfect, but the person seems pleased to watch her work. After finishing the video, the person quickly starts giving instructions for the day. There are many things to do, including catching up on emails, handling a PayPal transfer after talking to someone, and dealing with hotel and restaurant details. As they talk, the character tries to keep up, but there's a lot to remember. One thing stands out: engaging with social media followers. The person explains that just posting content isn't enough. Responding to comments is crucial. They need to reply to the first few comments, not just like them, to keep the algorithm happy. The character is surprised by this, not having realized how important it is. As they continue, the conversation shifts to technical things like Wi-Fi, which isn't always strong, and the person laughs, making light of the situation. It's clear that this environment, though full of challenges, feels exciting to the character. They're amazed at the opportunity to be here, watching and learning from someone who has already done so much. The topic then turns to writing. The person shares insights on memoir writing, emphasizing the difficulty of being both the author and the narrator of one's own story. They explain that the narrator's perspective, when to reflect, when to show or tell, is key. The character tries to take notes, desperate to learn more, even using a guidebook as a notebook. Eventually, the person hands the character a journal, a gift to help with their writing journey. The character realizes that this is more than just a job or a simple learning opportunity. It's a chance to grow and explore their own story. This moment feels like the beginning of something important. The woman is still reflecting on the lessons she's learning from her mentor. She admires how her mentor writes about difficult topics, like messy friendships, body insecurities, and the challenges of building a life that's true to oneself. Her mentor emphasizes that writing requires discarding nearly everything, but the stories that are told are the ones that matter most. The woman appreciates that her mentor writes not just about happy or easy things, but the real struggles, the uncomfortable truths. Later, her mentor receives a phone call and asks the woman to leave the room and meet other members of the team in the kitchen. As she leaves, she overhears part of the conversation. Her mentor talks about a former workshop participant who is terminally ill and asking for a refund. The comment catches the woman off guard, as it's about a serious issue, but the way her mentor handles it reveals her no-nonsense attitude. The woman feels awkward at first, unsure how to respond, but her mentor's relaxed reaction makes it clear that this is not unusual for her. Despite the tension in the moment, the woman begins to feel like she's truly becoming part of the group. She no longer feels like an outsider. She's learning and starting to understand the work and the people around her. It's an exciting moment for her, as she realizes the opportunity she has to grow, ask questions, and learn from experienced individuals. She starts thinking about all the things she could ask about structure, memory, voice, and writing itself. She also starts to feel inspired, thinking about how this experience might change her life. She compares herself to her mentor, who has had a long career and still remains rebellious and confident, refusing to follow the typical path people expect of her. The woman feels a renewed sense of purpose and excitement about the job, knowing it could lead to something bigger. She then prepares to share the news with her family, but she knows that they won't fully understand the significance of what's happening. Regardless, she feels proud and ready to embrace the chance she's been given. Meanwhile, another woman arrives at the gate of the house, greeted by a familiar face. She's directed down a rocky path toward a door with a colorful painting of a bird on it. She joins a group of other women, all making their way down the path together, though some struggle with the rocky terrain. Despite the difficulty, they laugh and joke, with one of them mentioning that they feel like they're on their way to a volcano, and someone ahead of them jokes about not being virgins. The mood is light and full of anticipation. These women walks along a beautiful path, surrounded by lush plants and colorful statues. The air is fresh with the smell of damp earth and flowers. As they move forward, one of the women ahead stops to take off her shoes, feeling more comfortable. The path leads to a green lawn, and there, waiting at the bottom, is a woman dressed in floating layers of blue and green. She has a warm, inviting smile that makes her look younger than her age. She greets each woman individually, whispering something in their ear and placing a shawl around their shoulders. Each woman receives a different colored shawl, and the main character, feeling nervous, wonders about the significance of the color. When it's her turn, she approaches the woman, trying to stay calm. The woman greets her with a smile and asks for her name. After hearing her name, the woman's expression shifts, but she quickly smiles again, saying something that makes the main character feel special. The woman whispers that she needed to be there, and the journey for her starts now. Then, to the main character's surprise, the woman gives her a warm hug before sending her off with a wink. She steps into the yard, taking in the view of a beautiful setting with fairy lights, tables with appetizers, and a stunning lake view. The smell of food makes her realize how hungry she is, as she hasn't eaten since breakfast. Everything looks perfect, and she feels the excitement of the evening unfold. At the party, one woman heads to the bar and orders a glass of wine, still feeling disoriented from her brief interaction with the other woman. She notices the green shawl draped around her shoulders, wondering what it means. She reflects on the idea that everything in this place feels intentional, unlike the randomness of her life over the past few months. She wonders if the environment here is meant to help her grow, to heal. As she stands near the bar, another woman, who had openly shared her struggle with terminal illness, joins her. The woman comments on the hug she received from the other woman, suggesting that it was clear the woman knew she needed it. They discuss the different shawl colors, and the main character realizes that each person might have their own reasons for what was chosen for them. The main character continues to look for the woman, wanting to speak with her privately. She isn't sure how to approach her without revealing too much about herself, but she is eager to absorb her strength and wisdom. Another woman suggests trying to speak with the woman the next morning, but the main character is determined to have a conversation that evening. As they walk across the lawn, the main character talks with the woman, who asks how she looks in her colorful outfit. They discuss how this space is different from typical social settings, where people often share deeply personal stories instead of small talk. The conversation turns to the main character's own writing, and the woman points out that she doesn't seem to be writing about tragedy, unlike the others. The main character feels a twinge of discomfort, as she has nothing tragic to write about, and isn't sure how to express her own story. She admits that she doesn't think of herself as much of a writer and feels lucky in comparison to others. At the retreat, a woman speaks about her memoir being accepted for publication, and the crowd cheers her success. Another woman shares a deeply personal story of struggling with failure. She talks about how she came to the retreat feeling broken, thinking that writing a memoir would heal her, but it didn't. She admits that she thought her book would prove she had emerged unscathed, but it didn't. Instead, she realized she was still broken, and it was okay. The group responds to her by chanting "cracks," and all this phrase becomes an anthem for the women, symbolizing acceptance of their imperfections and flaws. The retreat leader hugs the woman, making her feel loved and accepted for who she is, even with her brokenness. The group cheers together, and this moment of unity touches everyone, though the main character is still confused. She wonders if healing truly means becoming perfect, or if it's about accepting that one can still be broken but beautiful. Later, the group enjoys dessert, but the main character, feeling dizzy from the wine, watches a fork fall into the grass and doesn't pick it up. She reflects on the retreat, still struggling with understanding what it all means. She finds herself talking to a woman who stands out from the rest. This woman has a strong personality and shares her experiences, mentioning that she's a famous stand-up comic. The main character learns more about her, and they have an honest conversation about their differences. The main character realizes that she's learning new things about herself through these interactions, as the retreat challenges her understanding of healing, identity, and community. After Scarlett leaves, one woman asks Kay to explain more. Kay shares that she is waiting to hear back about a big opportunity with Netflix, feeling both hopeful and worried. Her agent told her that she's good at making people laugh, but she doesn't know how to make them cry. For long-form stand-up, people want more than just laughs. They want a story with highs and lows and deep emotional moments. Kay explains that her agent also wants her to finish a memoir she's already been paid for. Kay jokes that she'd do anything to finish it, even give a piece of her liver if it would help. She pauses and smiles, showing how she turns absurd thoughts into stories, but knows that memoirs require honesty, not too much exaggeration. Kay asks the woman not to share the Netflix detail, and the woman agrees to keep it private. They continue chatting, and the topic shifts to what they have in common, like agreeing on how good a comedy special is and where to get the best pancakes in the area. But then Kay realizes the woman is pretending to be from Chicago when she's actually from a wealthy suburb. The woman feels exposed, thinking she's hidden her past well. She admits she's not trying to be someone else but just wants to keep a low profile. Kay understands and agrees, showing a level of respect without pushing